All right. We're live. Finance Junkies. Thursday.
One word, Cybertruckle.
I just noticed.
Cyber testicle.
I fixed it. Just refresh it, and I fixed it.
No, you should put cyber testicle.
I was too excited. I'm a Tesla shareholder now. You know, it was an exciting day. So
Chris doesn't want to show his face because he's trying to talk about margins and find a panel gap or something.
Yeah, I mean, if we're not talking Verizon, he ain't coming on.
So I had a rough day. So I'm drinking some mojito rum that Carlos drinks usually.
Bro, that stuff is awesome. It's awesome.
It's actually ginger ale, but let's just assume it's alcohol.
Let's assume you could just say cheers to, a good launch. 90% good, I'd say.
Oh, so you thought 10% was bad? Okay.
Yeah, a couple things. I mean, it's like, you could be a bull, but you got to look at reality. But
before we talk about that, what did you do at Miami last night, Vitaly? Did you get into trouble or no?
Oh,
Did I get into trouble? No, we actually just went down the street. I know what street I'm staying off, but it's one beach from it's one block from the beach. So I'm not sure what it's called. Maybe you guys know. I wasn't looking at the street names, but we just went to a restaurant right over here. Had tacos. We actually
the last time I was in Miami, I was doing a job. It was like one of those like events that the companies do, like a corporate event. And they wanted the video edited so that it could play on the last day, but it was like a sales meeting or something. And so we were there and we did a little bit of shooting and then we would go back and we would edit. But on that second night, everyone went out and got hammered and they went to this place that I'm trying to tell you. And we got so much video of like married guys hitting on some of the other chicks. It got crazy. They're like, obviously you can't include any of this. I was like, man, this is some serious blackmail. And it was a company that you all know,
We did go to Fort Lauderdale today, which is really nice. Nice place. And I understand why people want to live here, even though they're drowning and they don't believe in global warming. But it's just such a pretty place to be in Miami and Fort Lauderdale. It's just like it's peaceful. It's like 70 degrees. The palm trees are.
How long are you going to be there? Are you leaving soon or
leaving Sunday?
Sunday. Okay, interesting. Yeah, I haven't been to Miami in a while. I've been to Florida a bunch of times. But the weather, that's a big thing, bro. 70 degrees all year. That's incredible.
Well, not only that,
I'm still in shorts. I talked to my sister yesterday and she was like, oh my God, it's like 24 degrees here one day and then 60 degrees the next day. I'm still in shorts right now. It's strange. When you come from New York and you move to LA, one of the things that is really difficult is the holiday time of the year because there's no snow. There's like nothing to indicate that it's wintertime and you're seeing houses like decorated for Christmas. It feels oddly like, what's the word I'm saying? Inauthentic. You want it to be cold, right? You want to be in like, your jacket and your scarf and stuff. And so it is a little weird. It'll get cold here though.
I mean, I'm in shorts too. I always wear shorts all day.
You're in a onesie. He's like, I still got my slipper pants on.
Dude, I've worn these slippers legitimately for like 2 years. What were you gonna say?
Best slippers?
I'm just reading the comments. Hindy said CLSK fell post-market.
Yeah, you didn't see it, bro? It dropped like 17%.
A miner, because I am researching these miners now because I'm also gearing up for the Bitcoin bull run, so I'm researching all of them. And I don't know enough about them and who's actually profitable besides Jesse saying that CLSK is the best one to bet on.
They are the best one to bet on. I interviewed the executive chair. They sold Bitcoin at 69K, bro. And I asked him, I straight up asked him, I was like, so you paper handed it? And he was like, no, we were just fucking smart. And I love that answer because like you should be smart if you're running a Bitcoin company. Like,
but that's considering like that's their source of income, right? They're mining to make the coins. They've got to actually realize gains every month. They've got to realize gains.
By the way, first of all, why did they fall? That's the one question. But the second question, I'm looking at their chart. They were at $2, so they're still up 3x.
Oh yeah, they had a great year. They're better than some of big tech.
Still 300% at this point. Yeah.
Yeah, I took some gains today. I made $600 on my Bitfarm calls, so 46% in 2 days. It's not bad.
It's not bad.
I think the calls are down now, so it's good. I kind of sold them today. I was just like, this is $600. I'll take it. It wasn't a big position, so
a bird in the hand is worth more than two in a bush.
That is true. All right, I don't know why KRIS isn't here because we got a whole Cybertruck to talk about, but I think we should get into it.
I'm even here.
All right, I don't know why KRIS isn't here because we got a whole Cybertruck to talk about, but I think we should get into it. All right, I don't know why KRIS isn't here because we got a whole Cybertruck to talk about, but I think we should get into it.
Yeah, we'll have to talk offline. I am starting that crazy schedule next week. I got my schedule, so
Okay, so what you can't do 9 p.m., 6 p.m. your time.
There's
no way.
I think there's 1 day a week that I wouldn't be able to, or 2 days a week. I have to look at it again.
Okay,
but it
got it.
mind
I
you,
mean,
this is a very
9 is
short
the
day.
only time, honestly, that it's hard to. It was even hard to make it today. But like,
when do you usually start? V?
say it again.
When do you usually start?
I mean, today I
At 5
started
a.m.?
7:30, but we just finished at 9 p.m.
Oh, I
You
see.
know what it's gonna be like? It's when VITALY was gone and it was me, you, and Chris for a while. It might be me, VITALY, and Chris for a while, for like 3 days out of the week because you're gone.
Well, most of the days I go in at 8. So if we started at 6, I would literally go right from here, right in the car. And
okay, so that theoretically,
it's like I think there's only that 1 day, and I don't think they're
day.
doing weekend shifts for this.
That's fine. If it's only 1 day, that's
Yeah, I
not
think if it's
Yeah,
1 day
it's
me
only-
and you can't make it, that's fine. But 9 p.m. is like a great time because it's I can't do any earlier. It's really hard, honestly. These people push and push and push.
Any later it gets any later it gets
Any later it becomes too crazy. But
well, I wouldn't be able to at all because the latest most of my days are 8 p.m. start.
yeah,
That's good. I don't think we want to do later than 9 p.m. for the East Coast. If we do 10 p.m., 11 p.m.
Special 3 a.m. edition. Good morning, guys.
All right, let's get into it. Cybertruck. You guys are the resident Tesla 10x, 20x bulls. I've recently got into the.
It's only 19x today.
It came down right. He was
came
smart.
right down.
He did it. He was smart by doing the event during market hours. That was smart to prevent like a big massive sell-off. We'll see what happens tomorrow. But I think the news was overall positive. What I've been reading is
what happened?
Where's
What
all
do
the
you guys
fun?
think? I mean, what were your raw thoughts? Let's start with that. Then we'll get into pricing and all that stuff.
Did you guys watch the event first of all?
I watched some of it.
I didn't see it, so you're gonna have to fill me in on that. I just know rough prices right now.
All right, yeah, we talked about it a bit on the in the WhatsApp. Overall, I think it was, like I said, 90% of it was just really good. They had some interesting demonstrations. There was most of it like we kind of knew what we expected. It hit certain expectations. Where they fell short was pricing and range. You know, they had promised a 500 mile Cybertruck, and it looks like you'll get to 470 with the middle of the line one with the range extender pack, which is basically the size of like a toolbox, kind of like a large toolbox that you'd put into the truck. And I think it's $10,000 or something, and that'll get you up to 470 with the middle one. But
and what is it without that extender box?
I think it gives you like an extra 50, 60 miles. So you're still over 300 miles. You're still over 300, 350. I think 320 is the lowest
on the base
range.
mile, on the base case, right? 300.
I can look it up right now. I have it open.
It just shows how hard engineering is, honestly, because it's like 4 years later since I put my reservation in. Right? Wasn't it 2019?
November 2019. Yeah.
So
well, the issue was the issue that they had with the range was the 4680 ramp ups. It was just a little bit more difficult.
Right. Well, no, it's taking right, and it's going to take a long time to ramp that. That's it just shows how hard it is. It's like if Tesla is having a hard time getting to the 500-mile battery and all this, like what are the other guys going to do? You know what I mean? Besides putting 200 kilowatt batteries in every car.
Well, there was an interesting podcast that Farzad did with this other guy that I've never heard of, where he broke down every single electric vehicle from every single maker and every single trim of every vehicle. And he plotted them in terms of how many kilowatt hours the battery is and what the range is. And consistently, Teslas are 10, 15% more for the same kilowatt hours for the range. So they're still doing way better than all of the other ones. But still.
Oh, no doubt. And what happens when they actually do ramp? Right now, the 4680s are not in the Cybertruck. Is that correct? Or are they in the Cybertruck?
I don't know. I mean, there was a lot of videos of people walking the production line, like people just walking with their iPhones. And I mean, they look like 4680s. I've seen them in person. They're big. They're like the size of those, like the mini cans of Coke that you can get now, or like those cans of that mojito drink that you're drinking. That you said you were drinking. I mean, they're like about that big. They're big. So the rear wheel drive is 49,000 after probable savings, 250 mile range, 68,000.
Is that single motor, rear wheel drive?
Single motor. That one's they're not doing the single motor till 2025. 250 mile range.
That one's never coming out already. Forget about that one.
I was really confused. Why is the cheapest one not available for 2 years?
Higher margins on the higher margins on the.
Would you rather get 100,000 for the people who would initially pay the 100,000, and then later when those people are gone, Then you go
And
to
they've
the
been
70,
exhausted,
80,000 people.
Then you release the 50, the 50,000. But again, that's after tax. That's after a tax incentive. But again, the tax incentive goes point of sale beginning of the year. So that's real savings to a customer. It's not like you have to wait for a rebate.
All right. So what's the first one coming out? What is the actual first
There's
one you can buy?
two models coming out. Two models that are now available for 2024. One of them is the all-wheel drive. That's delivered in 2024, 340-mile range, which you can get an extender and get that one up to 370 miles. So you'll get an extra 40 miles of range or extra 30 miles of range. But they're considering it not just extra miles of range, but towing capacity.
What is the extender?
It's basically like an additional battery pack that will go into the bed of the truck as like a large toolbox. Like
sort of
large
ruins the space of the
Why don't I just share the screen?
Yeah, sure. But if you're working and you want to put like a plywood or sheetrock, all of a sudden you have something in the way, right?
Here, take a look at it. Here we go. Let me see.
Yeah, but I don't think if you're going to be driving, like, who needs to take sheetrock 500 miles away?
Me, I go to Home Depot every weekend.
Yeah, he lives basically.
Let's face it, only just the middle class guys who work at an office will have these. Okay.
Let me see if we can find the.
Dude, I went to a mechanic today to pick up my dad's car because he was getting it fixed.
Mm-hmm.
And I said I'm becoming all manly and stuff. Dude, I could not breathe. I was like, how are they smelling this gas all day? Like my head was exploding. I was like,
my kid, that's funny you say that. My kid walked by a truck the other day at a parking lot and smelled it and was like, what is that? She doesn't know what that smells like.
And like gasoline smells good for like the first 2 seconds, but after I was in the guy's office, like, dude, I gotta step out. Like
I secretly love the smell of gasoline. I'm not gonna lie, I secretly love the smell of gasoline.
He's like, what are you talking about? This is
He's like, literally, he was acting like we were like in just clean air, and I'm like, dude, like I'm like my eyes are tearing up. This is crazy.
So here's the battery pack extender. Go even further with a range extender installed into the Cybertruck's bed, offering up to 475 miles on the middle of the line one for some additional range. What's not clear about this though is if you can remove that and actually use it as portable storage. That's what I'm curious about. I think Jesse was saying something about that. Like imagine if that was just additional battery capacity, you could pull it out of the truck, put it into a job site, and use it charging your devices or powering an air compressor or whatever the hell it is. How
many people can this thing fit? 7?
6. Yeah.
Okay.
Or actually, I don't know because the first versions of it had the bench in the front, so I'm not sure if they got rid of the bench and put the captain seats. But then that would be seating for 5.
I mean, the inside looks amazing. But so how much is the first one? Is what, a tri-motor? Is that the first one? Dual motor.
Well, here's the configurations. Rear wheel drive only one would be $49,000 after savings. If you look at the purchase price, it's $60,000, but after the savings, which they consider the $7,500 tax credit, there might be some other state incentives and then savings in gasoline that you get down to $50,000.
That's not bad. I mean, 50,000 is
that's not bad at all.
Just do purchase price. I mean, I know there's $7,500.
This is the one that most people will probably get. This is like the 15-inch MacBook Pro, right? Not a lot of people go for the 13-inch or the 17. They get the 15. This is like the one that most people will get.
They don't have a 13-inch anymore, by the way. It's 14-inch now.
By the way, this is the one that was $50,000 when I pre-ordered. Now it's $80,000.
It's $80,000. Yeah, but when you
more. Yeah.
Yes, but again, when you just adjust just for the inflation, it's roughly around where it should be. It's slightly more than if you just adjust it for inflation, but it's still in the ballpark when you consider what the world looked like in 2019 and how much money they printed since then. So, but the disappointing
that makes
part
me
is
feel better. I'll go buy it.
I mean, look, it is what it is because the money. There's
but honey, I adjusted for inflation.
Yeah. Unfortunately, we can't adjust our income for inflation.
Listen,
because
you're
we'd be making 15% more. But the real jump from this one is this is where you get the 11,000 pounds of towing capacity, 112 mile an hour top speed, which seems a bit low considering the Hummer's top speed's like 106 miles an hour. But I would imagine this is a software limit. It's not necessarily that it's incapable. I was watching a video yesterday.
I wonder what kind of margins this thing is going to get, though. That's the real question.
Initially, they're probably not going to be making much on these.
I don't think they're making much here.
What do you mean? You mean like they're going to lose money on these things?
They might actually be losing money or just barely breaking even on these.
What?
Well, the,
The
well,
idea
the,
would be
the
to-
first the first
Why did I invest
20,000.
in Tesla then if they're not making any money on the damn cars?
Well, come on. If you sell 20,000 vehicles, like that's what's going to happen initially. That you're not going to make any money on it. But when it's ramped, even halfway ramped, I think they're going to be making some money on it. It's
12
just not going
months,
to be
they-
20,
they-
30% gross margins.
12 months, they're hoping 12 to 18 months, hoping to get to about 5,000 of these a week, which think about how long it took Berlin to get to 4,000 Model Ys a week, right? That was a big milestone. So it is a really complicated vehicle to build. There was a lot of videos on the actual construction.
Did Monroe Group do like a breakdown of the component costs yet, or no? Like, because
They
I know
haven't-
that they usually do.
Yeah, they haven't done that yet. There was some video of Monroe actually in it. He drove up to the event in the Cyber Beast one. He drove up in this one, the $99,000 one.
And Kevin, nobody's buying 50 billion worth of Cybertrucks anymore. It's just not going to happen. A million
No, what he's
pre-orders.
saying is if with all the pre-orders, but even if you, and again in that video that I was watching yesterday with
That's
Farzad,
very
let's say even
optimistic.
half of them, half of them was at 2 million pre-orders, even half of them, and assume that they all eat, and none of them get the Cyber Beast, that all of them get the all-wheel drive. It's still a substantial amount of money. It's not going to be what the Model Y has been, but it's still an impressive vehicle. And the thing to consider too is it's not necessarily what the margins they make on this. We have to see what the halo effect is on the other vehicles in the line. It's roughly priced around where a Model S and a Model X is, but it's high enough price that it won't necessarily cannibalize those sales too much. So,
Well, I know I have 3 years now to save up. So there you go.
Right. So that was so those were the models. Most of the demonstrations that we saw were of the Cyber Beast model, and I think it's worth playing some of these. If you guys didn't watch them, I think it's worth playing some of these. Here, I posted this one. If you guys didn't see this, we should watch this one. We should watch this one, but I'm gonna.
Oh, is this the Porsche one?
Yeah.
Dude, this was crazy. For anyone who hasn't seen this,
if anyone has not seen this, but I'm going to stop and share a different screen so that we can watch it with the audio.
Yeah, when I saw this, I was just like, wow.
Yeah, this was pretty freaking bananas. Hold on, Chrome tab. It would be.
Prakash, our good friend of just the podcast, he's a big fan. He was bearish on Tesla the whole year. He saw Cybertruck 2 days ago, and he started buying Tesla stock.
Wow,
like that's crazy.
And you know what's funny is I never even considered like what the halo effect on the stock would be, but. Here's what you got. So can you guys see this? Yeah, you guys can see this. All right. So this is Cybertruck doing that 911 turbo race.
But wait, there's more.
That was wild.
That's pretty good.
It was carrying a Porsche 911 while beating the Porsche 911 in a race. I mean,
with all the features this thing has, the military should probably just hold on.
It can tow a Porsche 911 across a quarter mile faster than the Porsche 911 can go by itself.
This could just be adopted. This could just be adopted by the military, dude, for like at least some of the use cases of like towing things around like bases and stuff. Like this would be perfect.
Oh, did you see the video? Okay, I'm gonna show the video now. A guy empties an entire magazine of a Tommy gun into the side of the Cybertruck, and they shot it with slow-mo camera so you can see the bullets exploding on the skin. Yeah. Then the guy emptied a Glock and a 45 into the truck. No penetrations because the window rolled right up. I'm gonna see. It's actually I think they put it on the Tesla.
Someone in the comments like, Chris, can they mount a 50 cal in the bed, bro? I'm sure someone is going to. That shit would be awesome.
That is going to happen.
Put an M2 up there with a dude. Put an M2 up there. You got a 50 cal, bro. This is like the perfect technical,
Okay, so how did you guys feel about the delivery of it? Because it didn't say when in 2024. They just said 2024, right?
December 2024.
No, that's ramping up. I mean, that means that model will be available as of next year. So those are the ones that you can pre-order.
So are you guys buying it, both of you?
I've got my order in already.
I got a
and I was gonna
pre-order.
go-
I'm still number 300,000, but I assume at least half the people are dropping off. So I'll probably be at least 150,000 in the queue.
So it would still take you 2 years to get it. You would,
I'm sure of it. And I do want it. I mean, 80 grand is more than I wanted to pay, honestly, because I subscribe to the 50 grand. But 2 years from now, it might be a different time. If I'm doing better in terms of end phase and it's up, I might throw 80 grand at the Cybertruck. Fuck it.
And then every day on the pod, you're gonna say Enphase bought the Cybertruck.
I will say that, absolutely.
every single day.
Enphase bought a pool, Enphase bought 2 Teslas, and then I'll say it bought a Cybertruck as well.
This is worth showing as well. This was a great. Rob Maurer did sort of a super cut of it. But let me find. All right, so this was another really here's the Tommy gun. So actually, this was we finally got to see what it looked like in crash test.
It's smooth as silk and
It breaks the wall.
Yeah.
And then things like rollover, because the center of gravity is so low, it doesn't roll over.
Yeah, I saw this. This was interesting.
And if you're having an argument with another car, you will win.
You will win. Yup.
So now we'll watch the.
They must have had so much fun making these videos, bro.
Oh God, I'd love to edit these. Are you kidding me?
Dude, do you guys think it looks ugly or you think it looks cool?
That looks
I've seen
great.
it in person, and it looks like good in pictures, but in person it does hit differently. You can actually see it actually does have a lot of curves. It's not completely boxy. There's some subtle bends to it. It's a really nice looking machine.
Well, the question is, if you like a DeLorean, right? If you like the look of a DeLorean, then you should like the look of a Cybertruck. I've always liked the DeLorean, and Marty McFly used it in Back to the Future. AMIT, if you have never seen that.
I know what Back to the Future is.
Go back through time.
Just looking at it though, I wonder what it's going to be like to repair it. Because when it comes to like steel bodies, maybe not the easiest to repair.
No, but you don't. Like you're saying, if the door gets smashed up,
It's
like
not
that,
supposed to get dinged.
No, right. But if exactly like 90%,
It's not supposed to get dinged. Like no car is supposed to get dinged.
No.
It
Cars
happens.
are supposed to get dinged.
But his point is 90% of the things that would normally ding a car door won't ding this. And mind you, there's no paint on it anyway. So that's usually where most of the damage shows up. For any damage that hits this door hard enough to dent it, it would probably have wrecked the frame of another vehicle. And then at that point, you remove that panel and replace it with another one. As long as the frame's not damaged, you just replace it with another one. It would
I'm
be
not saying it won't be expensive though. In the beginning, absolutely atrociously expensive. But
Tesla will cover that. Tesla will cover that, right? Because
actually, if you look at the warranty, was pretty crazy. The warranty is 4 years, bumper to bumper to 50,000 miles, and then 8 years up to 150,000 miles on the drivetrain. That's more than I think that was more than the Model X. The
drivetrains, the one thing I've noticed that's really good about electric cars is that the drivetrains can last forever for the most part. Like they're just because there's no real moving parts that, so even if you bought like a Tesla from like 2016, whatever, still the thing works. The only thing that you really might need to replace is the battery. The drivetrain is pretty much
the motor. The motor itself will be fine. But this was this was the moment. This is when he was trying to dispel this idea that this is just like a pretty truck, that is just made for Tesla owners, that it can't do real work.
What happens?
So he says,
put our truck up. It'd be the fourth.
See.
And when we went to the track, we said, well, what's the best?
The volume.
Said, well, it's 4x8 feet, 4x8 pieces of plywood in with the back down. For those who are early into the truck world, there's something in the truck world called a truck pull. This is really the key test of how much power does your truck actually have. So you have to pull this 40,000 pound sled. And when we went to the track, we said, well, what's the best that you've seen? I said, well, it'd be the Ford F-350 diesel. It was like, well, let's put our truck up against that. The guy who runs the truck pool said, there's no way. There's no way. It's like, well, let's try it. Let's see what happens.
So just to be clear, do you understand what's happening here? This is a 40,000 pound 40,000 pounds on the back of it that's being
load,
towed.
40,000-pound load. Yes.
40,000-pound load. And on it, there's a weight. There's a weight that's in the back that is at first centered over the rear tires. And as the truck is pulling it, that weight slides forward, drilling the sled into the ground, forcing the vehicle to stop. So as it moves, that weight is going to be pushed forward and eventually dig into the ground, forcing the vehicle to stop. So the idea is, how long can the truck pull it with that weight digging it into the ground?
It's pretty epic, man.
So this,
I mean, that says it all. So you can see right there, the Ford F-150 Lightning pulled that load 207 feet. The Rivian R1T, as to be expected, was a lot stronger, 257. And the Ford F-350, 363 feet. So right there, you see the difference in engineering. Rivian is actually a pretty impressive truck if it's getting the same, almost the same metrics as the Ford F-350, which is the up to this point the most powerful truck. And the Cybertruck went beyond all of that to 318 feet, pulling the same load. That's pretty impressive.
There's one more. There's the Ford 450, but like I said, I don't know if that might be a false equivalence. But a Ford 450.
Isn't that the dual tire though? The dually?
Yeah, it comes with a dual tire, and and I think it's $80,000. So I think it's around the same amount. So it might even be a little less. I don't know. I'm not a truck guy. So
minus all the technology that Tesla puts in their car. And it's a similar price.
Yeah, of course.
I mean, in terms of trucks, 80 grand is actually not a lot. I've had contractors show up with brand new F-250s, 150s, and I'm like, how much did you pay for this? Because it looks really good.
80 grand. But keep in mind, most of those trucks are making you money. Like, we buy passenger vehicles to shuttle.
These are contractors. That's what they use it for.
Yeah, you're writing that off, and they're using that to make money, right? So the vehicle is
it's actually their mobile office.
Yeah,
they use it. As an office.
Yeah, and it's big enough too. A couple of other things that I wasn't prepared for that I didn't expect. I'll just share this because there's some other cool stuff here. Can you share that, Amit?
Yeah, sorry.
Kevin says F-450 is 120K. I'm not sure if that's a souped up.
Damn.
Well, I'm on Ford's website just looking at the pricing, and that could be true, but let me just, the MSRP is, let's take a look. So this is the Ford Super Duty, but these things are like, if you're really trying to like tow another car, like tow trucks will use stuff like this. This is not for the everyday person, but this XL is about 60K starting MSRP. Remember, the starting is never what ends up being.
Dealerships almost never have that model.
Well, that's minus air conditioning, so.
Yeah.
But
but the thing is, like, these things are reliable. This is like the best-selling truck in America. You know, not 450. It's the 150. I think the 150 is the best-selling truck in America. So, be interesting to see what the pricing is going to look like when you compare them. When you compare everything out.
So some of the other things that I wasn't prepared for was
has a 17-inch ground clearance.
So here's what he's talking about.
17 inches.
True 17-inch ground clearance, but that wasn't really it. It had a really low drag coefficient, which was interesting. But here, the steer-by-wire was super interesting. So I think we talked about this in the WhatsApp. The steer-by-wire basically allows the steering wheel turning ratio to the tire turning ratio to be adjusted based on the vehicle speed. This was a big complaint that I had with the Arcimoto vehicles, where the turning ratio was very hard when it was slow, so it had no torque vectoring. But also, when you're in a parking lot, you want to be able to turn the wheel very little, but you actually want the wheels to turn a lot because you're trying to do sort of very intricate and maneuvers. But when you're at high speed, you want very little wheel movement based on steering wheel inputs, and the Cybertruck has that, which is interesting because I thought it was by law they had to have a mechanical connection between the steering wheel and the front axle. So I don't know how they got around that. I'm interested in how that works. Basically, being able to eliminate that would actually help a lot of automakers designing their vehicles, because they always have to design that pole, that shaft to go through and connect physically to the front tires. It also makes it more of a fire hazard because you can't fully seal off the firewall because you need that that rack and pinion steering to penetrate. So I don't know how they got around that. That's interesting. This is a
So
feature
there's
that
no
you
other
use-
vehicles that run steer by wire.
not that I've seen, with the exception of some of the Lexus has it, or Lexus announced that they were going to have that. But it's the way to do it. This would eliminate some of the people's complaints with the steering yoke. So with the steering yoke, people don't like having to turn it around in the same way that you do a steering wheel. But if the Model S and X had that, and you didn't have that rack and pinion connection to the front axle, you'd be able to use very little. You'd be able to basically make a full turn by never having to cross your arms over. And that would eliminate a lot of the complaints that people have with the yokes, especially in Europe where they're doing a lot of roundabouts and they complain with not being able to signal when they're making turns.
So here's a question. What did you guys think of the baseball versus the steel ball?
That was weird. That was weird.
You played it safe for sure.
They should have played it safe from the last time too, man. Just stop over promising dumb things.
Yeah,
that
but
people
okay,
don't really care about.
they should have.
Wait, what happened?
No,
I missed it.
I think they should have. So Franz came out and was like, "We have to redo the test when we shattered the glass the last."
Let me see if I can pull it up. That was a good moment.
And then the funny thing is the throw that he did was like a baby.
It was such a wimpy little. He's like, I can't crack this, but I did catch this.
Yeah, I got it right here.
You got it. Share it, and then I'm going to share something funny that I found on the Cybertruck accessory page, which made me laugh.
In 2019, that's when it went viral because
at this point he should have just thrown that shit underhand, bro.
It went viral because he cracked the screen, but this is they were like, all right, we'll do it again, and now it's stronger, and this is how they did
it. He was like, I'm not even gonna try to hit the window. I'm gonna miss the door. Yeah.
Yeah.
Elon's like, yup, we fixed it.
That was weak sauce. That was weak sauce.
I mean,
it was weak.
Yeah, that was not the best.
So share this. Yeah, not this one. Well, actually, let me see.
Elon's like, I'll fucking kill you if you break this.
He's like, dude, if you fucking yeah. So there was this one. I did catch this. Share this real quick. You can buy this now. It'd be a decal. Glass? Yeah, you can buy.
Oh, that's okay.
That you would put on, and you would have that.
They're like for $2,000.
Yeah, that Apple Premium. So let me go back and the last thing. See if this. Okay, so the last thing I meant here. Share this. Let me see. It has the four-wheel steering gives it a tighter turning ratio than the Model S. That's one of my complaints with the Model Y. It has a pretty shitty turning radius. Like this thing, you need a big circle to turn the freaking thing around.
It's pretty bad.
Even with the smaller tires, I don't know why they don't turn as much. So that was interesting to see that it can actually corner better than a Model S. That was interesting. I'm trying to think if there was any other. Well, you saw this. You saw the time.
And so he gave out the trucks at the end to 10 people.
Yeah, people were coming up and he was giving them hugs, taking pictures. But here was something interesting that I didn't even really catch at the. This was Rob Maurer's subsequent video that he posted. Actually, I got to do it on this tab so we can hear audio. And I was not aware. Actually, I don't even share the tab. I'm just going to share the screen with the images. I think it's this one.
Who in the chat has a pre-order? Let us know in the chat if you actually are buying it. Like you have to have.
Why don't you do a little poll? I like these polls. So
yeah, do a poll. Polls make it easier.
Going to buy one actually, or who's interested at least in buying one. We'll see what the percentages of folks who actually hell no or hell yes.
Yeah. So this is the new Cybertruck page that's live on Tesla's website. And if you scroll down, you're getting some good features on it: no paint, shatter resistant, et cetera, prepared for everything you need. When you start getting into the work section. If you scroll down,
do they have power finally? I can run a compressor. You can actually run 240.
Yeah, when you're seeing the guy is connecting it here. But if you click here, it says operate your tools or charge any EV with integrated 120 and 240 volts. So that means for the first time, the Cybertruck could actually charge a Tesla that's distressed on the side of the road or any other EV. That's something that some of the other vehicles, some of the other manufacturers have. But it also says. And it provides integrated 120 and 240 volts to the bed and cabin outlets. During a grid outage, provide up to 11.5 kilowatt of power directly to your home. So if you click this link, you open up what they're now calling Power Share. And so now
finally, it's about time.
Yeah, the Cybertruck can actually power your home. They're calling it cyber home.
I think they
guess.
had
So
to do that because the F-150 had that. The
the
Lightning.
F-150. Yeah, I mean, well, it's considered part of utility. But if you think about this, I mean, now if you think about the cost of what a dedicated power wall would cost you at 13 kilowatts, and this thing is 120 something 2 kilowatt hours.
Well, this makes more sense for me now. So I was gonna go buy like
some batteries,
30 kilowatts of batteries, but this is probably 150 kilowatts of batteries.
Yeah.
No joke, at least that, and I could probably plug it into my house, and all of a sudden I don't have to spend 30,000 on that, and I can just use the Cybertruck for those
as your home
terrible
backup
situations. I think this is a great thing now. Absolutely, it actually makes it more worth it to buy it for 80K.
And it's got where is it?
Finally, they finally did it. It's amazing.
Here's the specs. I mean,
the Model Y doesn't
11
do that.
No, but also I think some of it has to do with the Model Y is having a relatively small battery pack. But no, when you compare to
75 kilowatts
power wall,
is not that small.
Yeah, I know, but 13 kilowatts. I know. I'm saying it's small compared to the Cybertruck, which is about double that. But still, how many power walls do you need to get 75 kilowatt hours of backup battery? And how much does that cost you versus just buying a Model Y, getting the wheels on it, and be able to drive it around?
Well, this is what I mean. The fact that they didn't put it in the Model Y, I think, makes it worse because you would have to spend around 50, 60,000 just for the batteries.
You know, I wonder how many solar panels this thing could fit in the back, like just stacked up, right? And so let's say you go to like some national forest or whatever, just take the solar panels out, put them out in the sun, boom, charge the truck while you're going on a hike.
It's not enough. It's not enough.
No?
It's
not enough. Yeah, there's not enough. You need a lot. I mean, dude, that's the biggest battery.
It's 150 kilowatt, let's say 150 kilowatt plus battery pack, and you want to put a 400 watt solar panel out there and wait. Oh my god!
It'd be a little.
No, I'm just saying. How many would you need? How many would you need to charge?
You need to take 30 solar panels
to charge it. To charge it at its max speed. To charge it at its max speed of like 250. You need it's a fuck ton. It's a lot. It's more than like a typical home would have.
30 or 50 panels, basically.
It's a lot of freaking panels. But still, it was nice to see that this is now possible. And to your point, Vitaly, this definitely offsets some of the justification of the cost because it's this incredible piece.
Oh no, it's 30,000, 40,000 off the price, in my opinion.
Are you kidding me?
I think so.
Yeah, basically, because you would have to spend that to have backup batteries that sit there and be stationary. So that was huge. This is why I said it was 90% or 95% successful event, because although they didn't hit certain things like the range, I wanted to see the 500-mile range, etc. I'm like, the steer by wire was a huge deal. And the that power share was also.
What about like
charging too?
What about mega charging? Like, because I know that's like the next generation of charging that they're going to start doing for like
mega packs. Yeah,
mega packs, right? So that
basically they have 400. They do have the 400 kilowatt infrastructure. From what I heard, they have that in the truck. The maximum charge speed right now on most of the superchargers are 350 kilowatt hours, but Tesla will, like, whatever supercharger version 4 would up that.
That would be crazy.
What does semis charge at?
1,000.
What?
1 megawatt. Dude, it's a fucking it's a 900, 800 kilowatt hour battery. It's like you'd be there.
I wonder if it's compatible to charge with that instead of the.
It might be. There was some speculation that would be the case, but you reach a certain point. I mean, 350 kilowatt is a lot of fucking power.
The problem is 350 kilowatts would be enough, but it doesn't sustain it for the whole charge. It's like maybe 20-30 minutes of that, and then it drops down to 100. So it's not going to sustain
all batteries. Yeah, but all batteries do that because as they get more full, there's less, like the electrons have a harder time finding an available space.
So this is what I'm talking about.
Yeah,
guys.
exactly.
This is the Tesla mega charger, and so basically the charging wire just looks like a beast in itself.
That's the Tony Stark arc reactor in his fucking chest, basically.
Oh my god.
I mean, dude, if you could charge a Cybertruck using this thing, that'd be crazy to see. But I don't know.
All right, Amit's bored. We haven't mentioned Palantir once. He's reading. He's reading texts.
Dude, no, I just like. I mean, I thought I wanted the stock to like do something more, and nothing happened.
No, you don't want it to do something more. Why would you?
No, I want to make money, but in the stock market, you make money.
Yeah, but but here's the deal. Say Tesla stock went to $350.
Yeah, how does that help you?
Right. You're not buying any more shares. You're
It
just
helps
not
me.
gonna buy
It doesn't
more
help
shares.
you. I mean,
I'll be up $500. What are you talking about? I'll make some
Yeah, but
money.
you're not gonna. The point is, you're not gonna buy.
I'd
any
sell
more
because
shares.
there's no reason it should be 350 tomorrow. I'd take my money. It'll come back down. I'll rinse and repeat.
you'll play.
Well,
Rinse
it
and
just
repeat
came back
5
down.
shares.
You could have
Why do
just
you
you could have just
why do you-
joined me in the Verizon train, brother. You know,
I told you it would be
Veri-
mentioned.
The,
I
the
told you it would
Verizon
be
train
mentioned.
is just that's what the Verizon train is doing.
Oh my God.
Djuki V at 6:38.
Yo, did you call him Duke?
Welcome. It never does what you want it to do. That's true. It never does what you want it to
Yo,
do.
I'm sorry, bro. I know this guy. I know Djuki. He's been a friend of the channel for a while. Dude, your name sounds like Dookie. I'm sorry. Let's just
Right,
like,
Dookie.
but his name is actually Djuki. But
Is that a real
Where the
name?
D
that
is
actually a real
silent and it's
I think he's from like the
Juki.
Netherlands or some shit. I think he's from.
Djuki.
I mean, he's
Europe.
a communist cat from what I can see. He's got the comrade cap on.
Dude,
you know?
he made fun of me for the longest on Enphase for so long. He was like, "Oh, with VITALY," then Enphase dropped. Then he didn't say shit. Now Enphase is back at 100. He's like, "Haha, admit you missed." Like he's just, I love him, but he's awesome.
What? Really?
Yeah, no, he loves Enphase. Like he's with you
That's
guys.
good. I'm glad you. Yeah, I know. I see him on Twitter. Yeah,
Okay, cool. So
pronounced Juki.
Juki. Okay, Junkies. Kind of. That's why you're part of the channel.
You're missing an N.
As
Let's,
an event, it was pretty lackluster though. I expected
Yeah,
it to be
yeah,
a bigger event. It was lit like shit. Like the production
Right.
person in me that does production for a living, it was just too dark. I don't know. I was not happy with the production quality. Also, the way that they were switching back and forth live to the videos to go full screen was awful. Like they need to have a better team that runs they need a better event team. I'm sure
I think they have a great
better.
event team. I think Elon is like, we have 10 trucks, guys. You don't have to go all out.
Make
Like
it really
that.
dark.
No, but I think like if you go to the website, I'm like, oh, can you now do something to check out Cybertruck on the website?
That's
Go
what we're
ahead.
looking at. That's what we're doing. You can.
I'm
you
saying,
can-
but it's still not easy to buy
it's
it,
on-
is it? You can't
It's on
buy
the
it, right?
it's on the front page. Go to vehicles and it shows.
I
up
went
in the
there. I
lineup.
couldn't like say buy.
Well, order now. It's the
Let me
same
see.
as
So
the
right
way
now
you would order.
I'm on the website and I'm going to go
Yeah,
to
you just order it.
vehicles.
You just order it. Order the one that you want. The only thing
Okay,
I tried ordering it early. The only thing is it's unlike the Model S and X where it goes to payment information and loan details. It says like we will contact you when it's time to finalize your order.
Yeah, I see. Now they have the options. Yeah.
Options. We're talking about options. What's the strike? Options. Talking about options.
No, I'm just checking. Okay.
All right, we I think we got to move on. That's anything else on Tesla? I mean, it was someone did say this was better than the iPhone introduction in 2007. That person was high on crack today.
No, come on.
And then this was a main guy. He's like a big Tesla YouTuber. He's like, this was better than. I was like, what? Come on now. Come on.
I mean, as a stretch, you could say maybe in terms of what it could potentially do for the company, but even that is a bit of a stretch. No, it was nowhere near what the iPhone reveal was. It wasn't even anywhere near what the iPod Shuffle was when Steve Jobs pulled it out of that little pocket.
Yeah.
He's like, what does this pocket do? Normally the change pocket and pull. I mean, come on. No. I think they should have, even if it was in the daytime, they should have had the event, I think, outside, like the way that they did like Battery Day. They should have had them out in the dirt and had a little off-road track for people to get their trucks dirty, the way they did with the Model S. And, they had a track where you could do some 0 to 60 runs. I think they could have made it a much bigger deal, but I think that some of it was they just didn't want to downplay it. But what's interesting is I have not seen like the negative FUD. Like most of the coverage of it has been really neutral, and I expected him to be like Elon unveils, a horrible, his ugly junk tank looking thing. You know what I'm saying? Like I expected there to be more FUD around it, and there really wasn't.
Yeah.
Cool.
All right. Well, let's move on to this topic. I thought this was really interesting today. I didn't know this. This also has to do with Tesla as well and Disney. KRIS pulled up some DD here. So I didn't know Mari Barra, GM CEO, is on the board of Disney. And a report came out today by the ADL saying that TikTok is responsible for a 30% increase in aggregate anti-Semitic content. But Disney has not pulled out of TikTok for their advertising. In fact, I was on TikTok today. I got a Disney ad. And it's just oddly peculiar that the GM board has a direct competitor of Tesla on the board. Obviously, not advertising on Twitter does hurt Tesla because Elon could sell shares. Is this a stretch, or is this a little bit of a conspiracy that makes sense that's why Bob Iger pulled out of Twitter versus TikTok and use anti-Semitism as his reasoning.
No. So let me clarify this really quickly. This isn't a shot at Mary Barra. I'm sure that she is applying every fiduciary responsibility possible to look out for Disney shareholders, quote unquote. But what I am seeing is that there are a lot of these other companies, and there's these interest groups that are there to see people like Elon fail. Right? There is a concerted effort to hold two different standards, one for Elon Musk and another for TikTok. So the use case for anti-Semitism as being the reason why they pulled their ads pretty much at this point is debunked. Like you cannot on one hand put your ads on TikTok that has probably some of the most anti-Semitic content, and then on the other hand use Elon Musk, just retweeting one guy and he said one comment, which by the way, this is the part that I hate about sometimes like some of the legacy media and how they report it. They don't report the part that he actually did an entire correction and explained what he was talking about. So what they did is they just focused on that initial 3 key words and just said, okay, this guy's anti-Semitic. And then after that, Media Matters and all these other organizations came after Elon Musk. And so all of these companies said, you know what, let's kind of start bailing out on X. But why didn't Media Matters do the same thing when it came to, hey, listen, you're promoting TikTok. TikTok right now, last week we spoke about this. Dude, there was a dissemination of Osama bin Laden's that letter. Like the one letter to America. Yeah. Yet, did TikTok pull any of that content? No. Did TikTok label any of that stuff as hate speech? No. Did TikTok do anything at all to try to address the anti-Semitism on their platform? No. Yet, the advertisers are like, hey, listen, we can overlook that. That's cool. So that's the part that always gets me. If you're going, what's good for the goose is good for the gander. That's what I'm saying. These advertisers, by the way, they're well within their First Amendment rights to pull their ads from X. But it just seems really, really fucking shady when you're holding two different standards. And yeah.
Well, first of all, that's the way corporations work, because as soon as someone shines a light on something, which Elon did, he literally shined the light on it. That's why there's a problem. Otherwise, Bob Iger would never care and he would keep advertising. And he'll be back in 3 months. I keep saying that. He's coming back. Don't worry about it. That's the problem. So I don't think there's any contradiction here. It's just if someone shined a light on TikTok, if the CEO came out and started saying anything related to anti-Semitism, it'll be the same thing. And Bob Iger will pull out of that. So Elon just did himself a disservice temporarily, and it'll correct itself in a few months.
It might actually ultimately end up being a good move, because if something like this didn't happen, he wouldn't have had the opportunity to say "fuck you" to the guy to his face. And then KRIS and a bunch of others posted. Jesse, who's been on a tear, man. He's switched. The only people that can respond to him now are people that are verified X users. So that's selling some of those X subscriptions. A lot of people are posting themselves proudly canceling a bunch of services. I even went to go cancel my ESPN service, but I have to do it through my phone because I'm like, you know what? I don't necessarily have to. I'm just not gonna.
And then I forgot and just watched ESPN.
No. I mean, no, actually, because now what I'll do is when I want to watch, I only.
No, but that's real. Did you guys see the search trends today? I'll pull it up while you're talking, Carlos.
I only have ESPN to get a better deal on the UFC pay-per-views, but I'll just go to UFC Fight Pass and give them the money directly.
Well, so let me ask you, if you liked other shows on ESPN and there was no other way to do it, would you give up your ESPN? That's the question.
You know me, I am not the best person, because as much as I make TV, I watch very little TV. So no, I'm not. I have Netflix subscriptions and stuff.
No. I'm saying if you were a sports guy and you watched a lot of sports and ESPN.
No one's giving up ESPN. If you're a sports guy, you're not giving up ESPN. So it's not like it's going to affect the content to that extent. But
right, but I don't have to see Marvel movies. I can cancel my Hulu. Right. I can cancel my Disney Plus. Right. So I mean, if they do get me on, say, ESPN for the one thing, the point is they're still now what's happening to them is it backfired. Even if it's temporary and people subscribe later, the message is clear. Like you're not going to be able to use the same tactic, this bullying tactic of like, we're going to scare advertisers away and bankrupt you to bend the knee and do what we want you to do. And it backfired on them. And basically what's happening to them is what they were hoping happened to Elon on X.
Yeah, it's that scene from Star Wars, you know, when Ben Kenobi is like, "There's like, strike me down, and I'll become more powerful than ever." So it's kind of like that. So you came after Elon, and now Elon
Struck
is
him down, and
yeah,
now he's a
yeah,
ghost.
The thing is, people have been trying to knock down Elon for a very long time,
yeah.
and it hasn't.
Oh, dude,
happened, and it's not
they're
gonna
looking.
happen.
The sad reality is there are always people gunning for this guy, you know. And to be honest, dude, I would hate to be Elon Musk, to literally go through the world where anything you do can be okay. So putting Elon Musk to the side, did you guys see what happened to Dave Chappelle today?
No, what happened?
Okay,
Which
so
one?
Dave Chappelle is from Washington D.C. He went to the Capitol building, you know, just to visit some friends or whatever. And Lauren Boebert and something DeLuna were there. So those are like some really right-wing Republican House members. So they kind of just ran up on Dave Chappelle and they snapped a picture with Dave Chappelle. You know, Dave Chappelle didn't smile, he didn't wave, or he didn't like, oh my God, hey. He was just in the picture. And so they posted a picture. They posted a picture with a caption like, "Oh, like the only 3 people in Washington that believe in 2 genders," or some shit like that. And instead of focusing on this is just stupid, everyone came after Dave Chappelle. Like now they're trying to cancel Dave Chappelle
Again.
Dave Chappelle again. So Dave Chappelle's like, "What the fuck, dude? Like he didn't even do anything." You know, this is the most retarded.
But his thing. There's been a video of him circulating recently about that specific topic, so I think that's why he was getting some.
They're calling him a Republican now.
What did he say again? What exactly did he say that got people mad?
He was
Like,
talking
nothing.
about.
He just took a picture.
Oh,
you
well,
mean
That's what started it. But there's a video of him circulating a bit from one of his specials about the 2 gender thing.
Oh, okay, gotcha. Yeah, Matt Rife is getting canceled right now for making a special.
No, they're trying to. They're trying to because of that joke he made within the first 3 minutes.
Of the Netflix special, right?
Right. Yeah, I was actually looking for that last night. I was like, now I got to go check it out. I saw something today. Joe Rogan was talking about this guy. Okay, so there's this video game that came out, and in the video game, there's a character that's sitting there preaching for women's rights, and a guy on Twitch was just playing the video game and went over and punched that woman in the face and got in trouble for it, for violence against women in a video game. Like, oh my God. Like the game developers built that ability in there. I'm like, oh my God, it's getting
dude. Red Dead Redemption is the funniest. These guys on YouTube, what they'll do is there's like this, you know, like during the time period, there was these suffragette movements, like women want to vote, right? So like in the game, there's like a character that's like standing. I was like, I want my right to vote, right? And so you can actually fuck with the NPC. So everyone just goes. And like one time I saw someone like gag tied her and then fed her to like an alligator. Like I know that sounds retarded.
That's a good game.
You know?
That is a really good game.
Yeah. But check out this this thing I'm gonna put. So look at this huge letdown to see Dave Chappelle. He's just standing there. He didn't even freaking know, man. You know. So now everyone is after Dave Chappelle, and this is literally the entire interaction where they just kind of go up, blah blah blah, and then I think it's like, all right, whatever, take a picture, right? And now Dave Chappelle is like an ultra right.
No, that's it. He's a target.
Yeah. So silly.
But the funniest thing was this right here.
I don't make anything of it. You know, I'm from DC. So, as you know, the government is one of the big town businesses. So a lot of people I grew up with work on the Hill. So I hang out here sometimes when I'm in DC and catch up with old friends.
Do you support anybody in particular, or did you come here for a particular cause?
Well, I'll tell you what I didn't come to do. Be on television.
What'd he say?
I mean,
I didn't come here to be on television.
Right.
That's hilarious.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I think that speaks to what Elon said yesterday. I mean, his words were I watched the KRIS Swisher on CNN today talk about what he said. It was hilarious, bro. She was like, you've got a 52-year-old man saying bad words. And I was just like, why are you bringing up his age? Why is like, he's the richest man in the world. He's the most successful entrepreneur.
Trying to say he's acting childish. It's like now they're trying to get him on that. You're acting childish.
It was sad, bro. I was like, really? He's 50. He's not allowed to say the F word because he's 50 years old and send a statement. Like, that's your criticism of what he did? I mean, the mainstream media definitely shat on him, but I think it was epic. and we're gonna see it.
The one good thing is that Glen Greenwald actually addressed this, I think, in the best way possible. And let me just bring that up real quick.
Elon
I think
shared
that was
so on point with a lot. Glenn, he's so on point with so many things.
Let me just find that thing real quick.
I think Elon shared it as well. Glenn's a pretty good journalist. Oh, you know DeSantis is debating Newsom tonight? Like right now? They're debating right now on Fox News. I have no idea why they're debating, but
nobody cares. We're voting for Trump.
No, but isn't this what we talked about in the chat? Like, it's not going to be Biden, dude. It's going to be Newsom or Michelle Obama. It's going to be someone at the last minute.
Wait, you think Biden's being pulled out? I don't think so.
Yeah, I think
given how he's acting, bro, it doesn't look like he can.
I don't think they're going to. But then you tell me, Vitaly, why would he be out there? Unless maybe they're positioning him as a new VP. But you get rid of Kamala Harris, and you're going to lose half of your base.
You get rid of Kamala? Wait.
Yeah, what I'm saying is, if he
no one likes Kamala Harris, bro. Everyone hates
literally no one on the fucking planet likes Kamala.
You know how it would be spun if Biden said, I'm going to get rid of the woman and I'm going to run with this other white guy. It would not be.
Oh no, that'll also look bad too.
The optics of it would just be horrible.
All right, so let's watch this.
That's why she has to exit the race.
Anyone who works in media and who has worked within the standard model of how journalism has operated in the United States for decades, which is the model of corporate advertising, knows that model imposes extremely severe restraints on what media outlets can and can't do. There are certain journalists that they can't hire because the journalists will say things that will offend corporate advertisers on whom they depend in order to survive as a media outlet. Of course, relying on corporate advertisers severely restricts the kinds of opinions you can air, the types of perspectives you can permit, the kind of reporting you can do. What's so amazing about this is that if you're a journalist, the thing that you should hate more than anything is any force or any influence that tries to limit your freedom to speak. Your reaction, if you're actually just a journalist in terms of your composition, your comportment, your personality, your mentality, when even thinking there might be someone or something trying to limit your freedom to speak, should be exactly what Elon Musk said there. Go fuck yourself. There was only one time in my entire journalism career when I perceived that somebody was trying to limit what I wanted to say. That was when The Intercept refused to publish my article right before the 2020 election that reported on and analyzed the documents from Hunter Biden's laptop and what it revealed about Joe Biden. And when I saw The Intercept wasn't going to publish my article unless I made radical changes to it that gutted the entire thing so that it was no longer critical of Joe Biden, I quit. And I didn't contemplate or deliberate much at all. What went wrong here is not what Elon Musk said. It's so revealing that so many journalists and people who call themselves journalists and work for media corporations are aghast that anyone would dare tell Disney and major corporations to go fuck yourself when they're trying to limit and censor and control the flow of political content. If you aren't willing to say that to corporations who are trying to limit what you can say, don't bother calling yourself a journalist. And so I think it's very telling and interesting that Musk got to the point where he said it, but I think even more telling is the fact that so many journalists were horrified. We need way more journalists willing to say, go fuck yourself to people who try and limit what they say. The problem is that the people who are hired by these major media corporations and who thrive in them and succeed in them are people who have the opposite instinct. Their instinct is to assuage and serve and placate establishment power, not to defy it. Even though the purpose of journalism is to be adversarial to establishment power, once journalism started getting corporatized, no longer owned by families dedicated to journalism or local communities, but major corporations that have all kinds of other interests besides their media division, and what kind of attributes are awarded to major corporations? People who avoid controversy, who avoid conflict, who avoid displeasing and angering powerful people. That's the corporate ethos. And the corporatization of media meant that that kind of attribute was imported into journalism. And that's why no one almost who works for large media corporations or the media corporations themselves has the courage to say this. They're shocked. They think it's a sign that he's unhinged, when in reality, it's just a sign of how cowardly and craven they are.
What do you guys think about that?
He's right. I mean, like, he's absolutely right. The corporatization of media has led to these lackluster journalists not wanting to say shit that ruins their advertising dollars, which I get it. Like, we don't curse on YouTube sometimes, right? Because we're afraid of the algorithm, so we're part of it. But that's why I respected Elon so much yesterday. He took a stance. And
but it's not even so much they can't. Like, they have to get their stories cleared, and they can't. I mean, Glen Greenwald was really high up on the Intercept. It was in a lot of ways his publication, and then the editors said you can't publish something on your own publication. I mean, that's where it gets to. They say you can't. So even if you want to, there was a bunch of people like around when that Pizzagate story was going around that had the smoking guns, and they just were not allowed to run the story. So even if you're a journalist right now, unless you go the independent route, like a Matt Taibbi or something, like how can you operate within that structure if the companies that own your organization also own other companies who can be directly affected by you reporting accurately?
And remember, if you go that independent route, you need to have a platform.
Yeah.
Because you don't have healthcare. You have to literally make your money, build your audience. Twitter, that's the only thing you can do.
But before that, like when Megyn Kelly got fired or Tucker Carlson got fired, they're done. There's nowhere for them to go. Their voices just go away. This is why even from back in the day when he bought Twitter, it was very clear how important that purchase was and how important it stays alive. And so we'll see what happens, because it really is the only platform where you could get some sort of objective truth. And it's going to be really important, I think, especially coming into an election year.
Yeah, the fact that media companies and big tech companies are allowed to own them.
All right, guys, I'm actually going to catch you later. Have a good one.
All right, see you Sunday, Vitaly. Bye.
It seems so like, I don't know. It just seems wrong. Like, how can Jeff Bezos? Yeah,
but then I've wondered the same thing. But then who funds it? Like, if you say to you, then what would it be? Then it would be government. You can't have the government owning the press.
And by the way, this is both sides. Okay, like you get Fox News is owned by corporations that have a lot more right wing stuff. Yeah, MSNBC that flames up the left wing side. So the question is, like, there is no objectivity left in certain parts of the media, and I think that's why I think podcasts like ours are good. Because people tune into them and say, you know what, I want to hear what these guys are saying. Some of it, I'm sure I have my own set of biases. I mean, you have your set of biases, Carlos. You have your set, but
I have
each one of us tries to bring our own perspective and then let the audience do the judging. That's all.
Let's end it on this. Thank you, Sanjay, for a $20 super chat.
Thanks,
Finally able to catch the pod live because I'm now now in your part of the world. Oh, in the States. This pod is awesome. Been following it from the start.
Welcome to Freedom Land. Freedom Land. That's what we want. America.
You can tell people to go fuck themselves. Gee.
In this country, you can say go fuck yourself and you won't go to jail.
We're just quoting Elon Musk. The last thing I'm going to ask, besides hitting the like button and subscribe, even though we got shit for it, for people asking us for it, is today is my wife's birthday. I'm going out to take her out to a nice dinner. Everyone just give her a little.
I bet you're getting sushi. I bet you're getting sushi.
Dude, as much as I love sushi, she loves like steak. So we're going to a really nice steak restaurant.
Okay, that's great. So happy birthday to Carlos's wife, the woman, the mother of his children and future children's soon. Even though
I told her today. I told her today. I was like, "Do you realize you were born on Cybertruck launch day?" He's like, "Cybertruck launched on my birthday." I was like, "No. You were born on Cybertruck launch day." I was like, "I got a bunch of Zooms I got to be on today." Anyway, I'm gonna jet, guys.
Thank you guys for joining us. We'll see you guys on Sunday. This last episode for the week.
Oh yes,
Sunday 9 p.m. We'll be here. Thank you, everybody. Have a good one.
Bye.
Good night. Bye. Thank you all. Bye-bye.